Okay, so I guess just what I wanted to say is that I lived on very close to the Olympic site, and I bought tickets to some of the test Olympic events, which I found really, really inspiring. I was able to see the gymnastics, and there was also a diving event that I saw, and and the diving event was actually on the Olympic site, which was in itself a great spectacle. And I found those test events really, really inspiring. Just to be able to see people performing to the very greatest of their ability, and the kind of emotion that goes into that, that you don't really see on a daily basis. You don't see people working, to their very highest. And so I guess that's why I think the Olympics is inspiring, because it's inspiring to all of us to see someone putting themselves out on a real edge, to the very limit of what they can do, and actually risking failing or risking losing. That's an amazing thing, and I think that's inspiration. I think that's worth supporting, and I think the Olympics as a whole is really exciting because of what it means, and just what it means to be kind of human and doing the very best that you can. So I do feel really excited about the Olympics, and obviously I haven't been able to get a ticket or been able to afford a ticket to the real events, but I'm quite happy to be watching it on TV actually, and I feel like the test events were cheap enough that, and there were spare seats, so they could have, people could have bought them. Maybe they just weren't advertised very well, but I think that was, a real opportunity. And I guess just to remember that where the Olympics came from, which is just this ideal. It was originally like an amateur, it was an event where they weren't paid, the athletes paid for themselves, and there was maybe 20 people, and they all turned up in one country, and the ideal was that they would just be multicultural, working together and competing together. And I just guess what's wrong about it now is that it's become a great kind of capitalistic venture, and although there's a good side to the fact that there's this great retail park beside the Olympic Stadium and it's created a load of jobs, the downside is that it makes the area more expensive and it pushes out local people. So that is something that I don't attribute to the Olympics itself. That is what governments have been doing over the past 20 years anyway. That's what's been happening, and that's a wider problem, and it's easy to pinpoint the Olympics and say that's the reason why it's happening. It's not. It's a greater problem than that. So I guess that's just what I'm here to say. Is just that the Olympics itself, I think, is an amazing thing, and perhaps all the circus that surrounds it is something that needs to be looked at in a kind of greater, wider context.